Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hang out with this nerd.
Nerdarch is Ted.
It's a trap!
But only for murder hobos. Hey guys, jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
So we got sent a GM 911, and Nathan wants to know how to build the perfect murder hobo trap.
So essentially, the nuts and bolts of it is, he wants to make a trap that is only going to affect those people that have that murder hobo mentality. I don't care about the other guy. I want to just go take stuff.
Or their only way of dealing with problems is violence. Mm-hmm. So the other part of that too is NPC annoys them, looks at them the wrong way, asks them a question, whatever, they just kill them. So that's like the other end of murder hobo
right.
As well.
So like one of the ideas he put in there is the fabulous jewel that the church has is nothing more than an illusion, and when you try to take it, it cuts off your fingers. I totally laughed at that one. I have to say that's definitely a good way to go, because you don't rob the church, man.
What if it's an evil church? No, so here's the thing. Like there's a couple things that come to mind right away. One is you should probably try and stick with 5th edition mechanics and the way things work, just because you're playing 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. So I find most things that have such dire consequences in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons only happen after 2 failed saving throws. So you might want to implement that. I mean, you could make the DC a little bit higher or more difficult if your goal is to make something bad happen to them for doing the thing. The other thing that I would bring up, the best way to create a murder hobo trap is to actually understand and know the murder hobos in your game. And that's going to be very specific from game to game, group to group. We're not going to know your players. Like certain ones are going to always just do certain things.
You really only have a couple options that I'm aware of that kind of fall into that save or suck mentality, and that's generally the petrification and just death. Am I missing anything?
No, but anything could actually be modeled after that as well. You just implement the two saving throw
effect.
Yeah, procedure from the other spells.
So one of the things that you could wind up doing is whatever you want to use as your lore, which is going to be some obviously any kind of gold or magic item or gem, something that is obviously valuable, but maybe there's a disease ring around it, and if you cross the threshold, you can contract the disease. What if there's a famous disease that you create for your game that has to do with greed, and it's blatantly obvious to anyone who looks at you that if you have this disease, it does this to your face or to any visible skin, and it's well known. So along another lines, you could wind up having a god or being of immense power that is against greed, and he's laying traps for those that fall into this mentality that they don't care about others, they just care about acquiring wealth. And this could be the puppeteer behind all of the stuff that's going on.
It could just as easily be a mischief or trickster god as well that just sees them as easy marks. So you could go with several different routes. I was kind of thinking about too, like the murder hobo that just kind of goes around killing people indiscriminately in your town. So I figure, like, well, why not create this like annoying NPC that you just know that the barbarian, how he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to take his axe out and swing it, or he's just going to grab the guy and break his neck or whatever. But like, I was thinking along the same idea as Ted when he said disease, but also I'm drawing a little inspiration from, I don't know if you guys remember the Blob from the 80s, not the one previous, which was probably, I don't even know, it was black and white when it first came out. That character in the movie, when they first discover the Blob, is basically a meteor falls from the sky. He touches it, and it attaches to him. And, it starts eating him, and it just grows and grows and grows, right? So what if this NPC has contracted something, has something going on, and he's basically begging the player for help or whining at the player, and he just looks disgusting, and really it's just you have to figure out what the trigger is for your player and the murder hobo in your game, right? You might have like the paladin or cleric that actually wants to help this person, but then you're going to have these other players that just want to get rid of him so that he's not annoying them anymore and it's not really a problem anymore. So I have this idea where they do something to him, and this black stuff, he just starts vomiting out his face and covers the player character that did something to them. And you could look at the oozes and puddings for inspiration. You can look at slime in the DMG, as well as the various molds as well. So you could really play with that stuff. If you want it to be more threatening, you could amp it up a little bit, and you could really give this NPC some foreshadowing as well. Maybe the veins are kind of black, or you see something crawl under his skin, or something like that. Something letting your players know, cueing them that there's something wrong with this guy, and something's not right. But the only way he's truly a threat is if you do something to harm him, and then it actually triggers that effect, and it's going to happen whoever does it.
So that's definitely a very cool idea. Now, Nathan, I don't know whether he was looking for a plethora of specific examples or whether he wants us to design one specific trap to use. I actually like the idea of using along the lines of petrification, but rather than in whole. Like, you have a trap of, okay, if you touch this item, it just turns your arm to stone, or maybe just your hand. How depending upon how long it takes you to succeed on a saving throw. So you're still fine. You can still do stuff. You're just limited in your abilities, I guess you would say.
Well, you could absolutely do that. You could literally just take the rules from petrification and be like, all right, well, and decide how much of the individual it actually affects. So, maybe it's just the hand, maybe it's the finger, maybe it's the whole arm. Maybe it's just up to the elbow, so it creates this problem for that player that he's going to have to figure out. He's going to have to figure out how to get this curse removed. I think some of the things he mentioned, like lopping off fingers and like that, seems a little harsh. You don't want to make it so that they don't want to play the character anymore. You want to make it so it will lead to more adventure, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So, like, they want to go and figure... I mean, you could go, okay, well, you could get your fingers back, but you're going to have to find someone that can do that for you. Or, in the case of the petrification, you have to find someone to undo it. And it is really better in a sense that if it doesn't take the character out of the game, then they can work towards fixing it, and maybe it'll curve their behavior in the future. Or if your objective is just to kind of, like, off their character and be like, well, maybe they'll learn for their next character. Well, you can do that as well.
In those situations, then you use the deadly traps in the DMG. You apply poison to any kind of blade that would be going through there. So it's like, okay, yeah, it might lop off an arm, but the damage might just do you in as well. So even if we bring you back, you're still missing an arm.
There's also like social traps you can use as well, right? And what this isn't actually a constructed trap, but what happens is, again, annoying NPC, someone is clearly inferior to the players and they can just do whatever they want, but the NPC doesn't see it that way, doesn't respect the players, doesn't respect the power they wield. This is going to get the juices flowing on a true murder hobo. And so what does he do? Either gives him a good beating, kills him, whatever. Well, what the player didn't know was that was the nephew of the most powerful wizard in the land. And now you've earned his enmity. He's going to find out what happened because he has the resources, and he's going to come looking for you. And he doesn't actually care whether his nephew was right or wrong. He only cares that you wronged his family, and now he's going to punish you for it. And because he's a powerful wizard, this can go into any number of directions. He can turn you into a newt. He could just...
He brings the nephew back as some kind of construct. Okay, you apparently don't love that idea as much as I do. Go ahead.
Well, he could, but like I don't understand what that does to the
Well, because you take the annoying character and you put it in an immensely powerful body, and because the wizard is powerful, it's got the ability to break the norm of the construct and be able to talk, and now it's going to come back and be pushy on you.
Okay, well, you could do something like that. The only problem is that it also might be annoying to the rest of the party if you're only trying to target specific characters.
That's true.
So that would be a thought. I mean, there are other ways to do it, like creating a permanent illusion or ghost that follows around the player, and they have to try to figure out how to get rid of it, do something about it. Again, I mean, you could do that with some kind of construct as well. But the idea is that there's going to be consequences for the actions. And in this instance, it's not a physical trap, but it's a social it's a social. I like to call it a social trap because the consequences are actually more social because you've earned the anonymity of this wizard. And it could be something else. It could be a thieves guild, any powerful organization or person that would have the ability to call down more might upon this player character and even the adventuring group than they would be able to handle.
And, I mean, all of that speaks to the fact that consequences have actions. And typically, if you're a DM and your players are being murder hobos and it's not something you want to allow, you are the hand of God. You are the DM. You have the ability to reach in and allow the actions that they're doing to have as much consequence as you like. So I don't mean to call you out, Nathan, but if your players are murder hobos and you're allowing it, it's a little bit your fault too.
It is and it's not, because you have no control over what other people do. You can just choose not to play with them.
True, but if the first time that you allow a player to I'm just going to kill this random NPC and there's no consequences to it, that begets more of that.
Yeah, it does. That becomes a whole thing. And, it can be inexperience. It could be like, oh, well, I don't really want to punish them or penalize it. It could be the video game culture. Like, there could be a lot of different reasons why this would happen. And fixing it isn't always easy. The first step is discussion and stuff like that. But we're not really going to go into the whole murder hobo discussion that this could degenerate into. Plus, I'm sure we have like 15 videos on that or something. How many do we have, Mike Gould? I know you know.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. So, but there are definitely ways to deal with this in your game. These are just a couple ideas for, a trap for you, Nathan, to unleash upon your murder hobo. And I know where you're going to find a bunch more that you can unleash upon them. In the comments below. While you guys are at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can tweet at us over on Twitter.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.